Well, I think we can all agree the Lakers season opener was pretty disappointing. Not just that they lost, but that they looked like strangers on the floor and kept playing as 5 separate guys instead of one team. The chemistry clearly wasn't there yet, and most of the role players were flat out bad for most of the night. Everyone from Anthony Davis, a majority of the bench unit, everyone that started apart from LeBron and Austin Reeves, it just didn't look right at all. However, I'm really not panicking over that yet. It's literally one game that we're talking about. There were good moments, there were bad moments, and there are still 81 games ahead. So no, I don't think it's even close to panic time. No, the season isn't dead yet. Despite the hot takes on Twitter and what you might be seeing on your timeline, that is not reality. Yes, there are definitely things to fix, but they have plenty of time to fix them, and I still trust they can do it. But something I'm a lot more nervous about is their never-ending list of injuries. Obviously, number 1 with LeBron, the fact that he's out and probably won't be back for another month already changes everything. You could see the impact last night. Apart from LeBron and Austin Reeves, they really didn't have a single guy who could create his own shot, especially someone who could actually drive to the rim and get a real bucket. That was a huge problem, and it's one they clearly still can't solve yet, which is going to be rough for them. But even outside of LeBron, they're now dealing with yet another injury, this time to a player who has basically been hurt for his entire Laker career. That player being Mo Bamba, the guy they got from the Magic while he was already recovering from a foot injury. He kind of made it back, played 5 meaningless minutes in that elimination game against the Timberwolves, but he never actually got to play with the team. He didn't log a single minute in the regular season, only played 10 minutes during the preseason because he got hurt again. He missed a chunk of training camp with a quad contusion, so it added up to only 10 total preseason minutes, split across 2 quarters, basically just half a game. So again, it really never felt like he was part of the team. Many fans have basically forgotten about him, and honestly there's a good reason for that. And now, once again, he's hurt again. According to Mark Stein, Mo Bamba will be out for at least 2 weeks with an oblique strain, which, knowing Bamba's history, almost definitely means way longer than just 2 weeks. Even if he does return, I doubt he's actually back in fewer than 4 weeks, maybe even up to 2 months. And even if he finally gets healthy after all that time, are we really supposed to believe he'll suddenly stay on the floor and be durable for the rest of the year? I wish that were true, and I really want to believe in him. He had a fully healthy offseason for once. But the moment he stepped back into real team action on literally day 1 of training camp, he got hurt again, that quad contusion. Then, after he tried to play in preseason, he got hurt a second time with the oblique strain. And now he's out for at least another 2 weeks, which is almost guaranteed to drag on longer. And when you combine that with the fact that he's on an expiring contract, I think it's time to trade Mo Bamba. Yes, it might be tough to pull off a deal this early in the year, but if we're talking about Bamba and the value he brings to the team, it's basically nothing at this point because he can't stay on the floor, and he won't be around much longer anyway unless they re-sign him, which I doubt they will. I think it's really time to start thinking about moving him. Yes, in theory it would be great to have a 4-5 who can switch on defense and stretch the floor. But if he's never healthy, and even when he is you have zero confidence he'll stay healthy, then what's the point? And don't get me wrong, I genuinely feel bad for Mo Bamba. Nothing against him personally. He's been trying to work his way back and actually contribute, but he just can't get there. And it's something JJ Redick even talked about yesterday, about how he feels bad for Bamba, and how Bamba told him directly how frustrating it is not being able to stay healthy. And here's what Redick had to say about it.
Well, Maxi's a pro. He's just a terrific teammate and a hard worker. I feel bad for him. I was making sure that we had released that. I'm not on get the social media stuff. So I feel really bad for him right now. He bemoaned to me yesterday that he's like, I do everything right. I take care of myself. I get my sleep. I put the right things in my body. I work out. I train. He's been bit a little bit by the injury bug here the last 2 seasons. So I really feel for him. I'm thankful this is a short-term thing, but I know that he'll be in a position in a few weeks to help this basketball team.
Like I said, I definitely feel bad for him. He's clearly trying to work his way back onto the floor and give the team something, but he just can't stay healthy long enough to matter. And I hate that they had to move one of Luka's favorite teammates and someone who's been with him basically his whole career, 8 years now, just for this outcome. But if he can't provide anything, and for a team that badly needs more value off the bench, I think it's time to trade Maxi Kleber, or at least start trying to. Now, the obvious downside is that not many teams are active on the trade market this early. If you're trading at this point in the season, it's probably going to be with a rebuilding team, one that would take an expiring deal like Kleber's because they're not trying to win right now. So that narrows down the list of realistic partners. Right now there are maybe 4 or 5 at the absolute max 6 teams that might take him and give you something useful back. But even with that limitation, there are still a few workable options. So we're going to look at a few Kleber trades the Mavs might actually be able to make right now or within the next couple of weeks. And for trade number 1, I'd look at a team like the Utah Jazz, a team that's knowingly not good and clearly not trying to be good this season. Yes, you'd be trading with Danny Ainge here, but they've already made deals with him before, like the Russell Westbrook trade that brought in Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley, so he will trade with them and can even be fair at times. And for this move, it's basically a 1-for-1 swap. Trading Maxi Kleber for Kelly Olynyk and a second-round pick going out with Kleber. No, it's not some big-name star, but Olynyk is way more durable, is better defensively than Kleber right now, can play the 4 or stretch 5, and can defend multiple spots depending on matchups. He's a very versatile big who can handle switches. Last season he shot 39.4% from 3, not on a ton of volume and with kind of a funky form, but it still works. I like Kelly Olynyk. He's a steady veteran who accepts his role, doesn't make noise in the locker room, and always gives effort. Does have plenty of playoff experience, playing in 68 total postseason games. He's been a real rotation piece and a useful one for over a decade now. I honestly wouldn't mind that swap at all. Yes, again, it wouldn't be some flashy big-name trade, but it would definitely help the rotation. Though, if you don't like that move and you might be looking for someone younger, more of a 3 and D guard/wing type, then maybe you try a deal for a guy like Cody Martin. Here it would be a trade with the Charlotte Hornets, another team not expected to win much this year, and you might actually be able to get Martin. The only downside is that he's banged up right now too, but he's likely back in 1 to 2 weeks instead of Kleber, who probably won't be back for at least a month if I had to guess. Martin is also way younger, 28 compared to Kleber being 33, and he played 71 games last season, only missing major time once early in his career. He's much more durable than Kleber and actually has recent production to point to. Last season he averaged 7.4 points per game on 39.1% from 3. He's also a solid defender, maybe not elite or a lockdown stopper, but definitely reliable, and he's a defensive playmaker, averaging 1.1 steals per game in about 28 minutes. Yes, the only real downside is that he's injured right now, though I don't think he'll be out very long, and the long-term upside with him is way better than with Kleber. So that would be trade option number 2. But if you're trying to trade for a frontcourt player, someone who actually plays the role you wanted from Kleber, then maybe a guy like Jalen Smith from the Indiana Pacers could be an option. He's way younger at 25 compared to Kleber being 33, and you'd likely need to give up a bit more to get him than the Kyle Olynyk or Cody Martin trade, but it could still be worth it. It might take Maxi plus a future first-round pick swap to land Jalen Smith, but again, that might actually be worth it if you're serious about upgrading your rotation. For a guy who can do almost everything Kleber was supposed to do. He can space the floor at the 5 and sometimes at the 4, plus he offers real rim protection, blocking about 1 shot per game last season in only 15 minutes, which translates to nearly 2 per 36 minutes. And the shooting I mentioned, he only hit 32.4% last season, but he took over 8 threes per 36 and shot 42.4% the season before that. On top of that, he finishes well around the basket, is a dump-off option, a lob threat, and just a versatile frontcourt piece overall. I think he'd be a direct upgrade over Kleber and a legitimately useful part of the rotation. And if you want to expand the trade and also land a 3 and D guard, a guy like Ayo Dosunmu might quietly be available too. He's on an expiring deal, and with the Chicago Bulls being notoriously cheap and refusing to pay role players, he could be on the trade block. So maybe you package him with Jalen Smith in a larger deal, sending out Kleber and Dalton Connect to make the trade work. Financially, like having to include another first-round pick swap and their only remaining second-rounder just to get negotiations moving. Maybe that's too much, maybe it isn't, but you can definitely make a real case for it. Upgrading from Kleber to Jalen Smith and then adding Ayo Dosunmu another 3 and D guard for the rotation. A guy who would arguably start for them right now with no LeBron, who can shoot the 3, play on ball or off ball, defend the point of attack, and is a versatile two-way player at only 25 years old. I think it could make sense both short-term and long-term, which the Mavericks are clearly trying to prioritize with Luka Doncic going forward. But outside of that, I really can't find many trades that are both realistic and actually improve the team right now. I'd love to say someone like Haywood Highsmith, but he's hurt and just had a setback. Maybe a deadline option, not a right-now fix, or a guy I've brought up before like Matisse Thybulle, but I don't think that Portland thinks they're bad enough to move him right now. I don't think they're that bad either. In a brutal Western Conference, they might eventually offload him, but it probably takes a few more months. So with all that said, the options right now are limited. There are a couple decent ones available early, and probably a lot more if they wait, but I still think they should explore the trade market for Kleber immediately. And with that in mind, what do you guys think? Would you try to move him now after yet another injury? Or would you wait, let him come back, and see if he can actually play before deciding? Maybe even hold him until the trade deadline? Let me know which route you'd take in the comments below. But that's going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day or night.